And yeah, doing a couple of, and we should be live.
Yes, I think so. Hello, everyone. Today, maybe it's the last time we have a look at the fork button migration, at least at the migration, not the improvements.
That's good.
So the other MR to update the feature specs to make sure that we don't have any regression has been merged, so we can now have a look at finishing up the specs on the previous MR, so the actual migration MR. And we have some failing specs because they're related to QA. So QA is for quality assessment.
Quality assurance, I think, but I could have got that wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, that quality stuff, they are failing on the selectors because we removed a selector. So let's have a look. So let me share my screen. Okay, you should be able to see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is the failing job on the pipeline, and it's saying that missing element fork button inside the fork XAML page because we have changed that.
Oh.
So let me have a look at what it was before. So the old page did have this QA selector fork button on the link. I did change yesterday evening let me go back to the, okay. So the fork button now does have the data QA selector fork button, so the same name.
Okay.
But the specs are still failing. I don't know if that's because it's not mounting the view application in some
way. I wonder, can you open the QA spec?
Yeah, let me find it. Show. Oh, it's this one. And the fork button is this one.
Oh, so, I've never seen that before. That interesting scrolling behavior while pinning the top. Is that something you've enabled recently?
Yes, and it's quite useful because I know where I am.
Cool. Do you remember how you did it?
It's a Visual Studio.
I'm sure I can Google it, but if you remember then.
To be honest, I didn't know how to do it because I saw Raymond have it and I asked him.
Nice.
But it's just a setting to toggle on. It's
cool. So yeah, my suspicion, my guess would be that this isn't even doing JavaScript, let alone mounting view, but I could be wrong. Yeah, and I don't know if you got any above or below that do. That's exactly what I'd be looking at.
Yeah, I didn't try to search. Let's see.
Although I did see there was a view. So directly above, there's a.
Oh yeah.
So how do you? Because I don't even know how you would. But this is weird because this is just like a list of, like, this isn't the actual spec. I don't, or is it?
Let's try.
Do you know what? Change. Can you? I want to know if you can actually run it locally. Is more interesting. But I think you might need to change app views, projects, buttons, fork to actually the view based on the one above. I think you might actually have to.
Hi, Missy.
I found you.
Oh, hey.
I'm also tempted to have a look at this MR and see how they changed because it's
Oh, sorry, Missy. Did you find the link in the channel description for the pairing channel?
I did. I found somewhere else that someone had mentioned it. I didn't
Okay.
look in the description though, but
I
now I know it's there.
just before the call, we are actually talking frustratingly. So on meetup.com, I believe that there's a recurring event. But on Discord, I can't find a way to do a recurring event. So I have to like manually create it if I remember each week. So one of our million things on our to-do list is to try and find an easy way. Like whether it's a scheduled pipeline in GitLab that creates these events every week, or but the more places we can put it, easier it'll hopefully be to find.
Nice.
So yeah, I wonder if it's that view, the way the view. Are you looking for when that one was changed?
Yes, but I'm not having that much luck. Well, let's try, because I think it's going to mount the fork button.
See that file that you've got open, I'm sort of a bit perplexed. And yeah.
And I guess we could try to, oh, this is not what I wanted. How do I close this one? I think we could try to see.
It's just an RSpec, isn't it? Or not?
No, not really, because when I had a look at the failing job, it's running this one with bundle exec bin/QA. So that's a new one for me.
Yeah. So should we look at bin/QA? Because is it just going to be a... So it's just a Ruby.
For instructions on how to run.
Ooh.
This is nice. If you are using GitLab QA, please use. If you see this message after starting, no. Okay, let's see this one. How does it work? Validating. How can I use it? You can use GitLab QA to exercise tests on any live instance. Okay, but how do I run this? Here it is. Oh. I think we could try.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
I don't feel that you need. Oh, maybe you do.
So cd QA, then bundle install.
So not that it really matters, but somebody taught me recently a shortcut for bundle install is just bundle.
Oh, yeah.
Same as yarn install. You can just do yarn.
Yeah.
For the lazy amongst us that can't be bothered to type 2 words.
I know some people that could even write an alias to BE. BI, no BE, because WebDriver headless. And now the password.
you got a top secret. Was this the GDK, the root password, or?
Yeah, it's the GDK, but I use this password somewhere else.
So you're just going to go and change your GDK password quickly or something like that, or?
Oh, even better. Oh, do we have to put quotes in a string? Yeah, I do. Done.
Interesting.
I just set the environment variable and then clear the console. It's not a huge deal, even if that password.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, you might have seen the discussion on our team recently. We've been sort of taught the ways of using the 1Password command line interface.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah, I have to enable Chrome driver to be. I never remember how to do this.
Nor do I, but I do know that it's reasonably well documented.
Yes. GitLab enable Chrome driver macOS. Not in here. It's not in the. Unable to open Chrome driver. It was a simple command that I don't remember.
It's exactly that.
Found it. Okay, and then it was already there. No such file. Oh, yeah. Because I have to go to that path. Could work now. Okay, it did something. Cannot load such file.
Because the relative path is no longer relative because you're in the QA folder.
Oh, good point. Okay. So it's like this. Okay, that worked. Oh, no examples found.
Yeah, because this isn't actually a spec, is it?
Yeah.
So on the page you were on, though, I thought it was a different syntax, like bin/QA or something like that.
You mean this one?
Yeah, so this is how to run normal tests, and just below it, bundle exec bin QA. Oh, am I reading it wrong? Let me have a look. Run it into end tests.
No, this is only for tests that are tagged with orchestrated.
Okay. Okay, so I think that what you're trying to run, though, let me go back. I get the impression that like the show file is almost like an include, but I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I think so as well. So maybe we can find the actual spec file.
Yeah.
Because I think that test sanity selectors would run all of them.
Yeah.
Test sanity selectors, or maybe not. Module selectors. Test sanity selectors. Okay. Okay. How do we load this one? Hmm. This is a selector spec. Hmm. They could try. Once we find how to run these specs, we might update these docs with an example.
So can you, so the failure, the log that you've got, the job log that you've got open doesn't give any more detail.
This one?
No, in the browser, the first, yeah. So it's trying to run the whole suite for test sanity selectors.
Yes.
Page view / elements validation error. I mean, do you want to just try running that bundle exec bin QA and just, if it's sort of looks like it's going to take 10 years to run, or?
But I think we have to run this from outside of the QA folder.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is using Bin QA.
Okay.
Command not found, Bin QA. But it's inside there. Oh, no, it's not inside. How did I run that?
Is it up another level, or is it down? Is it QA / bin / QA maybe? So it's definitely not in there.
Where did we find it?
Is it not in? Go up, yeah, and then try again QA folder.
Oh. Oh.
Is it in there?
And there's a bin here.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you
yes.
go. You were there all along.
Okay, so
There you go. Do you want to revert it and make sure
Yeah.
it fails?
Yeah. Oh, oh, really? It was that fast?
Yeah, but it's saying wrong number of arguments. Oh, because you got your JS in there.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
Happy?
yeah. But I wonder what these tests are doing then.
It sounds like it's literally just checking that selector exists in that place. You know, the most simple of, oh yeah, there's something called fork button on this in this file, and there's something called this here and something called this there. But I don't think.
Well, if that's it, then let's have a look at the other failing specs, because I think I remember they were all about that. This is complaining about. No, these are the fork specs complaining, so we can try and run those then.
Perfect.
Back to something that I actually understand, sort of.
You nailed it. Like, you know, less than half an hour. Get it all out. Fix the test and ran the test and prove it is fixed. What more do you want?
Yeah, I still think that these docs.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? When you're completely new or unfamiliar with something, it's a bit more daunting, but
Yeah. Okay, so my tests are not working. Did something changed? Because I remember this was also generating a PNG file, not only an HTML one.
I can't remember, I'm afraid.
Oh, I turned off
Where exactly
headless.
that's coming from?
Sorry?
What are the screenshots coming from?
They're coming from Capybara, I guess, or Selenium.
Yeah, so it's the front end feature specs that rather than the normal kind of unit tests, they actually spin up a proper GDK and kind of, I don't know, like emulate the browser clicks, etc. So yeah, it provides you a whole like HTML dump of the page, so you can kind of see roughly what it is. Quite hard to render that raw HTML, but you can kind of see, well, is it, sometimes you'll see it and it's like 404, or it takes you to the login page because you've forgotten to log in or something like that, so that can be quite helpful. But yeah, I've definitely have seen image snapshots in the past as well, but I don't know if that only happens in CI, if you need to enable an environment variable, or I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what drives that.
Okay, so we have the results and all my specs are failing.
Okay.
But why? Oh, maybe we have to wait. We have to tell it to use JavaScript now.
Yes, yes.
So is it on the it?
We should be able to do it at whatever level we want. So if you do it right at the top level,
On the shared examples?
no, I'll go higher than that.
Uh,
On the aspect describe, I'd do it right at the top.
Let's see, because yeah, I don't think it's a problem, even if we enable it globally for this spec. If the spec works. I don't think we can do it on the R
I'm
spec.
sure I think I've seen it. Just do a quick grep just to see if you can. Might just be that you need to put that before the feature category, or you might need to tell it that it's true or something, or otherwise I'm just imagining it.
This is on the it.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe it's before the feature.
Yeah. It might be like I'm probably completely wrong, but you know, what is it that you have to do in that when you're using the factory bot to create things, you have to put the traits first and then you can pass the key value pair second.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
I'm gonna go 1 failure.
I hope 0.
No, 2 suspect. If everything pass, 2 suspect.
It wasn't opening the Chrome driver before. Oh, and we have a PNG now.
Oh.
The forks button is there.
So
Why
it's
is it
just a question of, yeah, what was it trying to, what was it looking for that it didn't find something? But I think this is a good start.
Yeah. Maybe turning this to headless would make it
speed it up a bit.
Yeah.
How many tests were in that?
We should almost be at the end.
Oh. Well, there were a few passes in there, whether they were outside of your ones or not, I don't.
Yeah, there were other specs in here. Come on. I wonder why it's failing, because the button is rendered as an A element, so find link should work.
That's where the beauty that you've got the HTML, so you can.
Yeah. Is it stuck? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, well, my one failure was optimistic, I think.
Yes.
Your 0 failures was beyond optimistic.
Oh, it's expecting to find a CSS with fork count. Oh, fork count. Oh, because this is still using the old. Are they only related to the fork count? No. This is a 404. I understand that one, but oh. Oh, excuse me, just a moment.
Yeah. That one was looking like potentially I don't know if a false negative is quite the right word, but it looked right, didn't it? The path there. But it's just because it's got a fully qualified path instead of a relative one.
What have you been working on lately, Lee?
So ducking about here and there, lots of little bits, I would say, because we're kind of at the end of our quarter. So the next quarter starts at the beginning of August. So we would kind of reassess our priorities and set our kind of objectives and key results for next quarter. But one of the things that I've been doing a lot of is kind of our little toolbox helper scripts. So we've got a script that awards team members with a team member achievement. As you probably now know, we've got one for like our community contributors that awards an achievement. We have one that labels merge requests when they're linked to issues, which helps us with our hackathon and some other things to be able to differentiate and kind of score merge requests slightly different depending on whether they relate to an issue or not. I'm sure there's a few other that have. We got the weekly one, which helps us to generate that message that we share on Discord, and we've got one on Slack each week that's kind of like thanking everyone for working with the community and thanking everyone from the community for contributing, etc. So all these little bits and pieces, we kind of threw them together reasonably quickly. And you know how these things go, right? They start off and then they evolve and mutate and you bolt bits on and that. So, you know, clearly it would have been nice to have specs tests from the beginning. But we wanted to get something in, get something working, get something quick and kind of maybe slightly cut the corners. So I extracted, there's a common pattern that I use when I'm working with GraphQL, and extracted that from 3 or 4 of the scripts into a shared like library or helper or mix-in or whatever you want to call it. And I wrote a small spec for that. So I think that kind of whet our appetite to start doing a few more. We also had a change that we merged last week to one of the scripts that broke it. But when we were testing it, it didn't show up because the manual test that we run by running the script, it doesn't post to the issue on GitLab, and it doesn't post to Slack, and it doesn't do a few other things. So there was a bug when it got that far that didn't surface until we ran it in production. So I'm trying to write a few specs, and I think we're going to run out of time, but we were considering maybe looking at one of those.
Oh yeah.
And then just lots of, it's amazing, my to-do list on GitLab sort of, if I leave it for 3 or 4 days, it gets to about 70. So just kind
Oh,
of
wow.
keeping an eye on these conversations. There seems to have been a lot of talk recently, quite challenging like conversations about where somebody's maybe created a merge request and potentially spent quite a lot of time on it, and then at quite a late stage then maybe the product team sort of have sight of it and they say, oh well, actually this doesn't really fit within the kind of direction of the product, and we're trying to find this best way to kind of ensure that the community are like we sort of embody our everyone can contribute value, so but kind of toe that line and find that balance with making sure that somehow there's kind of communication channels are open, and we make it so that we don't waste community time, community contributor time, like starting to build something that maybe isn't quite right. And also on the flip side, we're also conscious of team member time, and you know the team members all have goals and objectives and quite a finite set of work scheduled for each quarter, but also need to make sure they've got capacity to support the community as well. So it's all kind of like processes and documentation and kind of trying the best way to facilitate all of this. One other thing that's also kind of top of my mind at the moment is the labels conversation that I think you've also been somewhat party to, where we have like accepting merge requests, good for new contributors, quick wins, and we're just trying to simplify that and align it and trying to make it more of a one big community rather than community members and team members, and oh well, team members use the labels in this way and community members use them in this way. So it's that bit that's so much harder than, you know, just writing the code is kind of the easy bit, right? But then trying to really make sure that everything is well documented, and also that kind of the line between everyone agreeing, which you're often not going to get. So then sort of becoming this person that's capable of saying, right, okay, we're going to go with like what's the best iteration, the small step that satisfies a number of people, but then we're going to have to kind of work on that. So yeah, it's complex. How about
A
you,
lot of little
Missy?
pieces coming together.
Yeah, exactly. And it is nice to see some more like off the back of the hackathon, we've enabled the bot in a few more places that it sort of like slipped under the radar, etc. But sorry, yeah, what about you, Missy?
I'm back.
Yeah, I've got hi Marco. You've mostly seen some of the stuff I'm working on, but a lot of those GraphQL issues and trying to finish the hackathon stuff that I put up. So creating a pipeline trigger, all those mutations, and there was another pending members mutation that I'm working on. And then all the ones that Marco's been tagged on this week about the validations for quick actions and the other time estimate stuff.
Have you managed to, because I think your mutation ones, each one's kind of blocking the next one, right?
Yeah, I'm still a bit stuck on one of those because of some specs, but it's moving along. So I've got some feedback and apply that, and I'm waiting for the next step on that. But that one's the trickiest bit. I find testing GraphQL mutations to be the most difficult thing for me right now because I get lost in some of the help.
Gotcha.
For specs and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if your internet connection's a little bit flaky. We're getting just a tiny bit of lag. So
it is.
Forgive me if I'm talking over and interrupting you a little bit, but I've got an excuse. If you want to obviously set up a session at all later in the week or anything, Missy, it sounds like you are kind of moving forward, but I know you'll probably start getting conscious of the time once we're like 2 weeks out from the cutoff date or whatever. So, you know, feel free to set up a little ad hoc session at any point, and we can do some pairing on mutations.
Thank you. I might.
Okay, I think I'm almost done because it was using some specs were still using the old way of finding the fork button.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And we actually have to find also the fork numbers button, forks count button. But I'm not sure how to find that one, because find link is easy because we have the text,
Mm-hmm.
but we
Has it got a class or a test ID or anything?
Yes, we do have the test ID, but how do we find it?
I think you can use a CSS selector to find it.
Yes,
So,
but
yeah.
on the MR to update the specs, they actually suggested to move away from CSS selectors.
Okay. Well, so do you want to see if there's anyone else has done? So if you do a grep for like expect data test ID or test ID or something like that within the spec/features folder.
Yeah. Oh.
So have selector rather than have CSS. It's basically exactly the same thing, right?
I think so.
I still think we might have a helper for it though. I don't think there's a dash between test and ID, or is
yeah, you're right. Oh.
So can you specifically search for features, or does it not really matter? I don't know.
Spec feature. That's not the path. Yeah, features. I guess we could do this way.
It just seems like we should have a helper by now. Do you know what I like? But maybe we're not searching for quite the right thing.
Yes, I know what you mean, but
let me see if I can get that.
Also, I think we could just use have selector this in here because we're just making sure that the button is there.
Right.
But we do need that somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm amazed that we've got like millions and millions of occurrences. Well, 1,600 occurrences of like binding using data test, like square brackets, data test ID equals. I would have thought that like creating a tiny little helper, maybe it isn't warranted.
Not to. So to include disabled and to have that, so renders disabled fork button, this is good. Enables the fork button, so we have not to include. And for project, no. For name, that looks good. We need this though. How do we check for the text? because I can find the fork count button, but I have to make sure that it has that text. Oh, is it that easy?
Maybe.
No, because that's the actual element.
Have underscore content.
Oh,
I guess it's a string, maybe.
true. Okay, so we should now be good. Hopefully, I don't see any other instance using the old. Find link. And these are my specs. Okay. Let's turn headless off.
That's good.
Or rather on. The first one was failing before.
That's wild. Boot up, doesn't it?
Ah,
Yeah.
have on a private version when the user has access to only one namespace. They're all failing. Why is that? There was a way to only run one spec, right?
Don't you just do the same as usual, like tell it which line number?
Yeah. Let's see if there are some meaningful. Oh yeah, this one, I know how to fix it.
Due to
Because to contain. Maybe this was the only error. And this is failing because undefined method contain. Or maybe it's contains.
Yeah, probably.
Or include.
I have this problem jumping from language to language all the time. I'm sure you do too.
Yes, I do. To contain, tine. Yeah, that doesn't exist. But include also works for strings. Yes. They should have a contain should be an alias to include.
Agreed.
As long as I see green dots, I'm happy.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I should. No. Let's wait. I think it reached the point where it was working before, so let's try. So skip this one because I stopped it.
Has Capybara just exploded or?
I don't know. Let's see if I can see. Yeah, this is strange because expect page status code to. Yeah, we didn't change anything on this one.
Yeah. Do you think all your tests are passing? So you're probably all right. That probably the rest all pass in CI.
I don't know, but I guess we can give it a try.
Pretty much at end of time anyway, aren't we? So
Yeah, and yeah, I don't. This test, we didn't change anything to these ones.
feels like something odd with, I don't know, version of Chrome driver or OS or something that's failing to pass the status codes back, or I don't know.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, they're all the errors I see are related to the page status code. And I don't know if that maybe has something to do with the JavaScript.
No.
Don't know. I think we can.
But that almost looks like a sort of stack dump or something, doesn't it? That you're seeing in the what's it there. So yeah, I would push that up and
Yeah.
keep our fingers crossed.
Fixed specs, maybe. Okay, it's up. Let's see.
Awesome.
It should have. I should never say again that something should be fairly easy.
We've all been there. We've all been there. It just been like, yeah, time just disappears, doesn't it? But if we can get this merged, I just hope that we can then get the improvements merged as well before the end of the milestone.
Yes, I'm almost tempted to try before today, maximum by the end of tomorrow, try and write up an issue so that we can have some discussion on what we want to do, and we can involve UX as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, we should have moved earlier on that, I guess, because we want them to say yes, but then I think we've got in mind that it's going to mimic the behavior of the web IDE button, right? So, but yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so that we
Awesome.
don't have to go back and rethink everything once we don't have a UX approval.
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Have a great afternoon all.